Hello everyone, welcome to FCA Friday. It is the end of August, somehow. I don't know how that happened. I woke up and we're here. And today I am going to be giving fangirl friend relationship advice to one of my favorite characters, internal spirit animal, Stephanie Plum. If you are completely new to my channel, let me tell you who Stephanie Plum is, because if you've been here for at least the last few videos, you're probably aware. Stephanie Plum is the main and titular character of the Stephanie Plum series by Janet Ivanovich. This is the first book, One for the Money. And in the beginning, there's not going to be too many spoilers. I will give advance notice of any of those. I have notes on my clipboard. But this is more of a plot summary here. And Stephanie Plum is a 30-something-year-old woman who loses her high-paying job and out of desperation becomes an untrained, unskilled bounty hunter in New Jersey. And throughout the 29 book, there is a new book coming out this fall in 2023. She develops relationships with two men. The first one being Joe Morelli. She's known Joe her whole life. They had their first romantic encounter when she was 6 years old and he was 8. He's described as being a couple years older than her. And then she loses her V card to Joe Morelli when she's 16. And she doesn't see him again for several years. And then they've had several romantic romps throughout the series. Then the second guy that we're going to talk about is Ranger, also known as Carlos Manoso. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that last name. I'm not fluent. But he is a Latino mixed gentleman who is described as being super hot. And he is a very skilled bounty hunter. It's his main thing. He's the pro, the expert. And he starts mentoring and assisting, well, it's more like Stephanie's assisting him in the series as she learns the rope of bounty hunterism. And she also has several romantic romps with him. But, and again, this is kind of more aimed for people who are familiar with the series, but follow my journey along as I describe whom and why she should date which. That was grammatically great. Little side note, as I was saying, I have done 2 other videos like this, one about Zeke and Tina from Bob's Burgers and Gomez and Morticia Adams. I will do the linky bits there. Back to our dear friend Stephanie. So as I said, she struggles between choosing between these 2 men. Both are super hot. Both have pretty good careers and levels of success. Now, Ranger has been expressed to be a lot more fiscally stable than Morelli, but Morelli's not doing bad for himself. Morelli has a comfortable house that he inherited from his aunt, comes with a big friendly dog named Bob, and he has a toaster. Why do I mention the toaster? Because cookie jars and toasters are very important to Stephanie. She sees them as signs of permanency and domesticated bliss. Ranger doesn't eat sweets, but he does have a toaster for all of his whole grain bagels. Let's go into a little more of their personalities, shall we? So Morelli, as I mentioned, is all Jersey. He has an ability to control his temper since being on the police force and stuff like that. But when it comes to his personal life, he's not so calm. He's also the jealous type, and he's mad about Stephanie's job as a bounty hunter. In fact, he doesn't like her job so much that sometimes he's willing to interfere with it. He does it, in his justification, out of safety. If she doesn't know where to go to get the bad guys, she won't go gallivanting off into danger. And she gets herself into some trouble, okay? And he fully works by the law. Being a cop And being in the military, he goes by the rules. His hands are tied by the system, messed up as it might be, and he works within all of the legal bounds and laws. And Ranger doesn't. Ranger does, he tends to do what's right, but by any means necessary. He kind of just makes his own rules as he goes along. And he fully supports Stephanie's career because it was one he used to have. And he often encourages her to work with him and be bait for him for various causes. He cares about her safety too, to the point where he secretly plants GPS tracking and listening devices in her purse and on her cars and things and phone. At first, Stephanie really hates the invasion of privacy, but it saved her life so many times that now she's just like, I hope you're tracking me, because these guys got me. that happens a lot. Morelli tends to be more of a traditional man. Both him and Stephanie come from families that are Catholic, and so he likes and enjoys the idea of marriage, even to Stephanie on occasion. And he has shown his commitment by buying not one, not two, but an entire box of condoms just for Stephanie. He frequently lives with her, she lives with him, and they have a pretty good common relationship when they're together. And Stephanie likes that. She likes the comfort, the knowing, the history. It's just something that seems to go just well. It gives her a sense of security. Let's talk a little more about their families, because when you're considering dating, being with someone in a long-term relationship, you end up dating their family, getting mixed into all that. They get mixed into yours. Now, just a little thing about Stephanie, in case I didn't mention, she has been divorced. Her husband cheated on her 6 months into their marriage. So Joe's family, as I mentioned, is Catholic, Italian. He's a certain age and doesn't have any children or grandchildren to provide to the family. He doesn't have a good housewife. And another fun little thing is that the Morelli family hates Stephanie. The worst one is his grandma Bella, who is one of those like crazy Italians who does things like she puts the eye on people and curses people. She doesn't call Stephanie Stephanie. She goes, "You slut," all the time, and has thrown eggs at her car, at her picture on the papers and on posters, and has done numerous things, including slapping, cutting in front of her, just doing terrible things to Stephanie on a regular basis. And her mother doesn't like her because of, she once had to go after Morelli, bounty hunter-wise. It kind of worked out. But yeah, since she had to go after her son, she's still salty about it. And the rest of the family just thinks that Stephanie is the one who's keeping Joe from committing. She's willing to do the dirty without doing the ceremony. Along that same lines, Stephanie hates Morelli's family, his cousins who are drunkards, who cheat on their wives, beat their wives, and they're always coming over to play poker, to get drunk, to play pool. In fact, when she thought that he was secretly buying her a ring, he was actually changing out his kitchen table for a pool table. She also hates that Morelli has expressed that he wants her to quit being a bounty hunter, as aforementioned, but he wants her to not have a job at all, just be a stay-at-home housewife. Meanwhile, she doesn't cook. She doesn't like to cook. She eats peanut butter sandwiches standing over the sink. I'm not saying that's a plus for her. I'm just saying that's the way it is. Ranger's more of a mystery. He tends to be very solo. Whatever his background is, we don't know for sure. He's shown not to be particularly religious. You don't really get to know any of the rest of his family and their background. And he has made it clear that he's not into marriage. He doesn't want that level of commitment. He does seem to only have eyes for Stephanie, but marriage still not on the table. And because, as I said, he makes his own rules as he goes along, it gives this level of, okay, but where are we? Like, what's the commitment? It just gives a lack of security, despite that being his otherwise expertise. Especially when he's ready to take her. He's ready to go there with her. Whether or not she explains that she's in a committed relationship, he's like, So, that's kind of point against him, yeah? However, point against Morelli is that despite that he has suggested and thrown out the idea of marriage a few times, there was a time, spoiler alert, that, they did the dirty. Him and Stephanie, they've been living together for a while, been on that good level. And they, like I said, they had a sexy romp. And it's the next morning, they're laying naked together, very cuddly and cute. And Joe's been acting a little weird, been a little secretive. And Stephanie's like, he's going to propose to me. She is fully prepared for the proposal. She's like, yes, I'm going to say yes. This is what I want. This is where we should be. And he turns her over, looks her in her eyes, and he says, I think we should start seeing other people. No, you don't have a romantic romp and while you're in post cuddles decide, hey, this seems like the appropriate time to express that I want to break up with you. Topper, he also says that they should start seeing other people, but that Stephanie explicitly isn't allowed to be with Ranger. Girl, he just broke up with you after you did the deed with him. And he's going to sit there and tell you that who you can't date. Excuse me? If you don't want to put the ring, you don't get to tell me where I can sing. They both get docked for this next point, where even though Ranger supports her job, he does do a lot of the tracking because he doesn't quite trust her to get the job done. And they both kind of treat her like she's incompetent and naive continuously, even though throughout the series she has gone after and, spoiler, caught, complications, both of them. So it's like, oh, Ranger, the number one expert pro at everything, still got by the Stephanie Plum. Morelli, streetwise number one cop, got that whole swagger, top of the line, still got caught by Stephanie Plum. And while Ranger does give her a lot of freedom, go do what you want, it's kind of like, but do you care about me? Are you just giving me the freedom to do whatever? That way you can go and do whatever, and then I don't have any standing to ask where you were and who you were with? So, all of that information, a lot to take in. Which one do I advise Stephanie to date? Like, who should she ditch and who should she just go all in with? Because they both have some good points, they both have some poopy points. Well, my dear Stephanie, my advice is go with Ranger. I just feel like, yeah, she has this comfortable history with Morelli, but that's exactly why she should see that Ranger's better for her. Because he was years older than her and he lured a 6-year-old into his garage. I mean, he was also under the age of 10, so it's not too creepy, but still a little weird. He takes her V-card and never calls her back for years. I mean, she did run him over with a Buick, but still wouldn't have happened if he wouldn't have been an absolute D-bag. And not only did he do that, he made a poem in 2 different public areas telling people about the romps. And it just shows that he repeatedly shows that not only doesn't he really care for her, he likes to be able to control her. He has that familiarity with her, but he doesn't give her room to grow and expand. He wants to stifle her, just be a housewife. And he doesn't seem to listen to her needs and wants. It's always about what his family needs, what his family wants, his family's expectations. And listen, for my personal thing, for those of you who know me, jealousy is the ugliest thing a person can be. And he's so jealous. You know, he tells her how to dress. He tries to give her curfews at some points. That jealousy just 10 marks. Gone. Yeah, we're repeatedly encouraged that Stephanie wants to be with Morelli, but I think that's her old school upbringing, which is similar to Morelli's Catholic family and their expectations, but she doesn't want that. She's already been divorced. Marriage isn't going to satisfy you, Stephanie. She's hoping it will close the gap, complete her, make her normal. It will elevate her in some way. Girl, you know marriage doesn't do that. A ring on the finger doesn't guarantee happiness. And she knows that from experience. And yeah, I realize that Ranger might seem emotionally unavailable, but where has Morelli shown emotional availability? Because when she did think that he was going to propose, like I said, after doing the dirty, he breaks up with her. He takes her V-card and doesn't call her back. She has never been so hurt by Ranger that she ran him over with a car. She did once accidentally get his Porsche crushed by a garbage truck, but that wasn't her fault, and it wasn't intentional. And I think that she's trying to satisfy her family's desires and expectations, but that's not what's going to do her any good. Stephanie, you need to be with Ranger, because while he is distant, he's not interested in marriage, he's going to give you the freedom. He's going to give you the sport. He's saved your butt more times than Morelli ever has. And he's not jealous. He's like, listen, do what you want. You're your own woman. You know what you want and what you need. And he's okay with that. And I think that, the whole distance, he's doesn't do a lot of talking and opening up. I think that's something you just have to adapt to. You have to respect boundaries both ways. And while he doesn't seem to respect privacy boundaries all the way, again, it's saved her life numerous times. And she's now appreciative of that. And she can have career advancements, financial security, because if she does stop wanting to be a bounty hunter, she can always go work for Ranger. He's offered it time and time and time again. He's going to give her so much more security than Morelli ever could. There isn't that jealousy factor. There isn't the hatred of the family. You get married to someone, what, you want to show up to every baby shower and barbecue with everyone hating you, glaring at you, and calling you a slut? No. And again, even though he doesn't want marriage, he does still express the commitment of only having eyes for Stephanie. And so let go of the old-fashioned cliches. Let yourself be free. Enjoy Ranger and the range of activities that he can offer you in and out of the bedroom. So that is my advice. Tell me if you agree or disagree with me. We can disagree politely in the comments below, and I will see you on the next video. Okay, bye! It never stops when I want it to.